So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, nice to be in Novosibirsk. For coming 50 minutes, I will tell you everything about my failures, my mistakes as a leader and as an entrepreneur. And to make it sure that you understand and you don't copy my mistakes, you have got the No Fear Best book, which is in written. So if you are starting your business, if you have already started it, I am not giving the book, or Intel is not giving the book for promoting it. It's just that you avoid same mistakes. People always talk about success and best practices and how to make a million or trillion or zillion. They very rarely talk about what kind of mistakes they did as a leader, and then the guys or girls next door will repeat the same mistake. So that is the theme. I think I don't need such an additional introduction, but I have been an entrepreneur and a businessman all my life. I started in a very, very small village with 300 people only, my IT company, in the middle of nowhere. I mean, Novosibirsk compared to that is a dream place to start a business. I have had some genes, some kind of entrepreneurship blood, perhaps in my vein, because my grandfather was the founder of a company called Nokia. So I was born in '72, and we got our first mobile phone at 1978. It was 265 kilograms, 260 kilograms. It was taking not only the back of the car, but also the back seat of the car. And when I was 6 years old, I was sleeping on top of that mobile phone. So I know something about mobile telecommunication also. 2.5 years ago, I retired. I had already hired 20,000 people working for my company in 26 countries. So yeah, malinki finski oligarch. So that's why, but I decided to stop. I was 39 years old, and I said that I will do something else. And I wrote the book. I was meeting people in over 100 countries about master classes like this. And then I got the call from the very city center of Moscow. And they said that, Pekushka, come to Russia. So I did. Very simple, very straightforward. And as I said, I am in Russia only for one reason. My KPI, my personal KPI in my heart, is that I would really like to get thousands and thousands of new startups to be established in Russia. Not in Skolkovo, not in St. Petersburg, which is close to me, in general in Russia. And because my roots are from the countryside of Finland, I have a great, great sympathy the more far away I go from Moscow. A great sympathy, because long distances, nobody believes you, you are in a far away, no premises, all that kind of things. I know it from my own kind of, when I was starting as an entrepreneur. So that's why I'm really, really happy to be in the regions. I got the nickname Bulldozer from Steve Ballmer. Steve Ballmer, who just retired from the Microsoft, he said to me 15 years ago, Pekka, you are a real bulldozer. You are a real bulldozer. And ever since I have been the bulldozer. That's why even my Russian email address is bulldozer@skolkovo.ru. It's the only one in Russian government system with the nickname. So you know me. Skolkovo, as you know, it's a region, it's a project, regional project close to Moscow. However, Skolkovo, we will use our experiences, our time, our money, our international connections to make the action all over the Russia. Because it would be stupid that we have practicing, we have done a lot of all kind of mistakes, but also good things. We have now 947 companies in Skolkovo program. We have selected those out of 5,500. Also companies from Novosibirsk are in that program. So, but the purpose is not to get people moving to Moscow. I can tell you that there is enough cars already, enough traffic jams, enough everything. So it would be great if the great entrepreneurs could run their business here in Novosibirsk or Tomsk or Omsk or Vladivostok or Kaliningrad. And Skolkovo was originally established not for Moscow, but for Russian Federation. And this is extremely important to know, because in media, everything is so Moscow-centric. Everything, and our aim is totally different. I have a dream, like one famous guy said 50 years ago. I have a dream that we would have 1 million people in a startup community. Not only in Russia, but we want to connect. I show the next slide. We have a plan. This is a secret plan. It is not public anywhere yet, but it will be soon be, because it's accepted already. I can show it to you because you are all my friends here in Novosibirsk. Our plan is to connect 40. There are 40 cities across Russian Federation, startup communities, where the Novosibirsk is one. There are now those where we are already now, but we will add 15 more. New 15 cities will be added there. And we want to connect that with the European startup community, just by accident, a Finnish community, which I know pretty well, and the Chinese community. And we try to make it that we would learn together faster. Not only selling products, but to learn faster. So the themes or ideas for the coming year is that we want to get globally competitive startups. It is not good to be the most beautiful boy or girl in Novosibirsk. It's nice, but it's not good enough. It's not good enough to be best in Russia. You have to be best in a global market. That's the aim. And especially today, because Gasparin Smulevich always reminds me that IT is the most beautiful thing in the world. And I, as a nerd, I can say that it's, of course it is. So especially in IT, it would be totally idiotic to start any IT business without a target to be best in the world. Because IT market is by definition a global market. It means that companies need to learn faster. You have to learn faster. You of course need money, you need premises, but the key is how quickly you can learn and learn from others. Of course you will learn your colleagues here in Technopark, but then you can learn from your colleagues from Tomsk or from Moscow or from Helsinki. And then if you are learning also from London and Shanghai, then you are in a world level. It's a very straightforward thing. And I added in this official slide this no fear just by accident, but it is also so that when I started as an entrepreneur in the countryside, in a village with 300 people, I was afraid of going even to big city of Finland and to tell to everybody that my innovation is good. Trust on me, believe on me. I was afraid of it. I'm not anymore. But especially due to historical reasons in Russia, we have to say 3 times bestraha. In Finland only 2. And this is extremely important to understand that you really need to have a fearless attitude. If you are making a deal with me, or you are making a deal with this girl, by definition you should think that you trust her. You trust her, and you might think that he will not steal from you. By definition. If he does, then he's an asshole. But the point is that business making and community making is that you by definition have to trust people. Otherwise, startup communities will not fly. And for Finns, for people in Finland, we don't talk so much, we mainly drink. This trusting is very difficult. We don't want to talk with each other and so forth. We are very shy. Don't be shy. Okay. No, you can read about my history in internet. It's irrelevant. But I just want to tell you a real story. every time when we go in startup tour or we go for any event, after the event, somebody comes to me, holds my hand, and says that, can you give me some money? Because we need money for startups. We need a grant and so forth. Okay, it's okay. Everybody can ask money, that's no problem. But I want to tell you that for me, when I started my business, I didn't have any money. Nothing. My mother and father were working as a psychologist in a hospital. We had 5 kids and a lot of a mortgage, so no money at all. And in 1986, there was no angel funding. I knew something about angels, but not angel funding. So I just want to tell you that for me, I started collecting money by fishing. I started fishing. Every night I went to the clean lake, 2 years, I started fishing these crayfishes. And by doing that, I was able to collect in 2 years 20,000 Finnish mark, which is 3,000 euros. It's a lot. But I worked 2 summers with my brother to get some money. Then we also made some cakes. It was not very good business, but we also made cake business. The outcome was that I bought the first computer. 1989, this was the first color display computer in eastern part of Finland. First. It was not in Nokia, it was in my small country house, paid with the crayfishes. The reason why I'm telling this is that people always complain about circumstances. If government is not doing this, and if Skolkovо sucks, and if the governor of Novosibirsk doesn't know to anything, or Technopark is too cold, or whatever. Real entrepreneurs fix things. And if I would come and invest to your company, I would try to watch your eyes first and see, are you the person who is here to complain or fix things? If you are only waiting for grants like Skolkovо give me money, I would say, irrelevant. You have to have a hunger to perform. And then, if you have such a energy, then I, Skolkovo, Russian Federation, all the investors are happy to invest on you, but not other way around. Actually, in Russia, there are sometimes even problems, like in many countries, that money is given too easily, and then people become lazy. They just start to wait for next grant, and next grant, and next grant. That is not entrepreneurship. That is social security or something. Okay. Everybody knows that from Finland, the most popular thing is not anymore Nokia, it's Angry Birds. Angry Birds is started by my neighbors, just a few hundred meters from my home. 4 years ago, they didn't have any money. They had made 54 games, 54. Nobody wanted to play those games, 54. They were out of money, no money at all. 7 years they tried. They had mortgages and they loaned from their wives, and wives were working a lot. And then the husbands were spending it making games. I think they might have some family problems also there. But 7 years they tried, and the game number 56 made them billionaires. 56. And now the valuation of the company is $4.4 billion. And they make every day profit worth of 120 million rubles. Every day. Like tick, 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 tick. It's coming like this. They have even a counter where you can see the money coming. It's a very, I would say, interesting scheme. I am telling this that these guys never have got grants. They had in a Technopark, they get some help, but they really wanted to make something to happen. There is absolutely no problem for any Russian city. Novosibirsk is a big one, but small Belgrade or even smaller cities or village, that the next Angry Birds would come from here. There is absolutely no problem, because the money comes anyway from Apple Store and Google Play, if you are in gaming business. You just need talent and bыстро attitude. So, of course, gaming is not everything. There are many other industries where you have to develop year after. I had to make 20 years my business when it was big. So, I'm not saying that everybody should make games, but I'm saying that there are industries, knowledge business and IT-driven industries, where you can do the multi-billion success anywhere in the world. That's my point. You might wonder why I'm promoting so much about young talent. I can see that there is a lot of young talent here also, and when we were in startup tour in Novosibirsk in April, we had about 300 young talents in the room. The reason is that most of the innovations, most of the new startups are driven by, I call you or them, PlayStation generation. Not because they are more experienced, not because they are smarter than their parents, but because they have a bыстро attitude. They want to be more international, they want to be more, and they are more open-minded. That's why when last year in Sochi Economic Forum, Mr. Medvedev asked from me in televised show that Pekushka, what should be done? What would be the miracle to make Russia entrepreneurial? I said that Dima, we should know. I said, Mr. Prime Minister, of course. Mr. Prime Minister, we are ready when all the mothers and fathers in Sochi or here in Novosibirsk will educate to their kids to start a business. Today, I don't believe that all the mothers and fathers are saying that. Most of the mothers and fathers are saying that work for Sberbank, for Rosneft, for Gazprom, for government, it's easier life than being an entrepreneur, because making a business is a risk. But that's why I'm encouraging young talents not to believe their parents in this particular area. You can trust them in other areas, but not in this. Because without your power, the change will not happen. The book, what I was doing, was really like an accident. It's not business. I just want to tell you. Every single book sold, every single speech what I'm making, all the money goes for business school, so I'm donating it. So there's nothing to do with my business. But the most important thing was that when I started making it, the Finnish and the Chinese and the English, it's in 16 languages, I asked some friends. Unfortunately, they are all guys. I also have female friends, but these guys, starting from Mr. Dvarkovich and Mr. Orlovsky from Sper and Fisher from IMD Business School, I wanted them to tell how this feels from the international standpoint. Because no fear is about my failures. How do you feel? And this is also an attitude like what I'm promoting as a leader. Tell to the people what you are doing. Because in Russia, the tendency is, I tell you a story from Astrakhan. In Astrakhan was a startup event in April. There was 300 people in the room. And when I was listening people having coffee, I realized that nobody knows each other. Only very few people knew each other. They are same age, they are all startuppers, and they are all from Astrakhan region. And I asked, how many of you know more people than 3 in the room? More than 3. There was 5 hands. Which tells me that in Astrakhan, people are not telling even to their colleagues what they are doing, because they are afraid that somebody might steal my idea or something like that. And I encourage here in Novosibirsk to work other way. Please tell to your colleagues in this region what you are doing, what you are aiming, what you have failed. Because if you do like that, people will give you back, not immediately, but later. And this is something which is absolutely essential for building a community. You cannot learn entrepreneurship in university, not from my masterclass, not from my books, but you can learn it from your colleagues if you are in the very center of this startup community. It doesn't cost anything, only your time, and you have to be interested about people. Leadership is also important because quite soon, let's say that you have a business, you are making the next Angry Birds of Novosibirsk. It might be that today you are doing it with the team of people here in Novosibirsk or Russians, and you as a leader, you feel a little bit challenging to lead colleagues from those arrogant Moscovites, and then some people are in different time zones, and how do you make them to follow you? How you are doing leader? But if you are successful, next year you will have 20 Finns like me. I will be in your team. You will have 5 Americans. You might have 6 Chinese, and they should all love you. They should all think that you are such a great leader that let's go for it. And it is too late if you start thinking about how to lead team, how to become a leader at that time, because it takes months and years. And this is a problem for many startups, because many startups are very engineering driven, scientific. You develop, and your idea is that when the product is ready, you start selling. Typically, it's already too late because you have to build sales organization, you have to test it in international arena. And I'm really encouraging every startup here in Novosibirsk to make sure that as soon as possible you find an exchange student, for example, who is here in the university, or your friend, or whomever, to be part of your project. Because it will start changing your mentality, what kind of leader you are. It's absolutely essential. Many arrogant people think that it's easy. My leadership is that I'm the boss, I pay you money, you do what I ordered you to do. But it doesn't go that way. Leadership is essential for startups, not only collecting grants and making innovations. When I was a leader, I try to be very fast with this slide. 1996, we started measuring leadership index. Leadership index is a formula. Every 6 months we were asking thousands of people how Pekka Vильякайнен is being as a leader. And they said to me that my leadership index was 93, meaning that I am a super leader. That I knew every people, I knew their wives, their dogs, their children, we were doing sport together, everything we were doing together. But I had only 190 people working for me. And I thought that it's okay, I'm a great leader. But when I had 1,000 people or 3,000 people, suddenly my leadership index was dropped like this. Same guy, same stupid joke, same ideas, but not able as a leader. And the book actually talks about what does it mean to change my personality. And then it took years to climb up here. But this is not good enough, because I am retiring, this is the secret, but I'm retiring 20th of April 2040. It's my official retirement. And the question is, how do I develop myself further all the time? Because otherwise there will be next drop. So leadership is not something that somebody is born with the gene. Like if you want to be a president of Russia, that you are born with some like thing. You have to learn, you have to understand, and as an entrepreneur it's even more important. I want to say one thing about psychology. There was a writer, as you can see, author, and you can read it from here, who I think this was written 100 years ago, or 150 years ago, I don't remember it. But he said that if you want to make great boats, you should first tell to the people what is sea. I mean, that they love sea. Because it's very difficult to make boats without seeing what is to sea. How does it feel to sail? In Russian startups, I would encourage you to think in the same way. You as leaders, you have to explain over and over again why we are doing it. Not try to hide anything. Okay, you might have your shareholder agreement or something, but in general, you should tell to the world what you are doing. Because if you have a team who loves your idea, it's easy to make a startup. But if you have a team who is just working for you, you will never become a success. There are a lot of people who think that you just hire talents. If you have money, I hire 5 programmers in IT. I hire 10 more, 15 more. It's not like that. You have to get them to love your mission. And this is something which can never be exaggerated. Never. This is, I will share you the slides. There are much more material than we can handle, but I will show you. This is not a list of me. This is a list of my friend, Mr. Dvarkovich. So Arkady, when he was making a book, he was analyzing his way of working. He was at that time the president, the aide for the president of Russian Federation. He was thinking how he should change his leadership. And he made this list. You have to have a good basic training. You have to do local miracles, meaning some good things happening here and there. Then you have to be good in communication. You cannot say that a communication PR lady or boy will fix my PR. If you don't communicate, you are a bad leader. And then you have to have ways how, if you have something crazy, like Angry Birds, how do you scale up? How do you make it really like a multi-billion business? In Arkady is not developing games, just I want to make clear with this. But in the government they have a similar kind of issues, that if there is a good technopark, how they can copy it in 10 places if it's good. If it sucks, how to not do it again. And this is a good list. I take it not because Arkady is an entrepreneur, but I took it because he's a Russian. And he's a great guy, also 41 years old. We have only 2 days difference in our birthday. So every leader should have a similar kind of a list. How to develop yourself, your business. Okay, then talking about startups. In general, this is not scientific. This is totally non-academic. But in general, there are 4 reasons to run a startup here in Russia. 4 reasons. First one is that I love my product. I love my product. Like yesterday, I met a guy from Tomsk who was driving with his car to meet me at the lobby of Hilton Novosibirsk to sell his idea. And he was so excited about the product. I love my game. I was like, okay. He called 25 times to my assistant that he wants to meet Mr. Vильякайнен in the middle of the night, driving from Tomsk here. I said, okay, why not? And he loved the product, only about product, nothing about grants, nothing about anything. He was driving with the old car, no fans, he was not nice dressed, but he loved the product. The second one is that I love my team. There are leaders who doesn't have any ideas, but they have a great team. Like that the team will solve any problem what I give to them. This is also a good type of leader. Third one is actually Mr. Jobs, Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs said that the key thing for him is to understand what consumers want and to invent what they might want next year. Not even knowing, but invent what they might want. And this is interesting leadership, because then you are watching others, you are watching consumers, you are thinking by yourself. That's okay. Fourth one is the worst, and it is that I want to have a Porsche Cayenne. There are also leaders, also in Russia, when I ask, why do you want to make businesses, that I want to have a Porsche Cayenne. Porsche Cayenne is a very good car. My wife has a similar one. But it's a very bad reason to start a business. Very bad. So my view is that when you are communicating with investors like me or anybody, you should genuinely think that you have a people who really love the product team. This can be your hidden dream. Like you have everybody has a hidden dreams. But do not tell to anybody. Don't show it to anybody. Focus that you love your product. If you really love it and you have a good team, you will also get your Porsche. But not other way around. This makes you laugh, but this is a big problem. Especially in the institutions, I must say, even in Skolkovo, which has given free government money. And people have kind of lost the focus. Like that it's just hoping for a new grant to come. It's not the purpose of business. Business is to make money, not to get money. To make money. A typical startup has this kind of track. There is idea, there is planning, like everybody's excited. Then everybody makes a prototype. Then you have a first pilot customer. Then you do a commercial release. You release your product in your hometown. Let's say you have a game and you release it to your friends here in Novosibirsk. Fifth one is that you have a problem. You don't have enough money because you have spent all the money from investors and the hometown doesn't generate enough cash. Then you try to become international. You borrow a little bit money and you go to Moscow or you go Helsinki or you go Shanghai. And then you hire a very expensive sales guy who tries to sell. He's alone in distant region. Then first feedback what you get from that sales guy after a few months on top of travel bills, he tells that, Igor, your product there in Novosibirsk might be good, but it doesn't quite fit to Chinese market. Send me more money. This is the normal kind of procedure. And then you are out of money and you do a bankruptcy. This is a typical procedure of a startup. The question is how you can avoid this kind of procedure, because it's not nice. You have a lot of energy and then you do a bankruptcy. Our aim as an organization and in general is to make sure that how do we prepare you as a startups? I mean, and you should, as I said, if you send me your email address to bulldozer@SKRU, I will send you back the slides, so you don't need to copy anything. The question is, how do you make this first phase, second phase, third phase, fourth phase? How do you avoid problems? Because it's a different time of business. I cannot go all the details, but I show you an example. As an investor, as me, I will do a go, no-go decision after every phase. So, if you are asking from me 2 million rubles for starting business, you start it, you have a phase excitement. Then you come explaining to me what you have done. Then I decide, do I give you another 2 million? There are two issues, how you have done the first phase and what you plan to do next phase. And the next phase, and the next phase. And there are certain measures, I just want to show you very quickly. What I call them magical moments. If I come back again and ask, what did you do with my 2 million rubles? I'm actually a pretty bad guy as a Finski oligarch. So when do you believe that you are getting the first ruble coming to your account? When the first income is coming to your account. It's a magical moment. Even it would be 1 ruble. It's important. There are other magical moments. When do you think that the first dollar, meaning other currency than ruble, is coming to your account? When do you think that you have 30 people, 30 people, or 150 people? Because you as a leader needs to change. When you have 30, you know everybody, then 150 is more difficult. When do you open your first foreign office? When do you open your first team anywhere in the world? That's the magical moment, because if you survive, I will give you another 2 million. When do you have more non-Russian colleagues than Russians? When do you have, if you have 100 here, when do you have 200 outside? And then, when do your revenue hits $1 million? And believe me, I am not the only investor who thinks like this. If you can explain to me, not in detail, but your plan, what do you do here, 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 and what do you do that you will survive in these magical moments, you will get the money. If you have a great innovation and no ideas how to make this happen, you probably will not get the money. Because so many innovations are lost, not because the innovation is bad, but there is no execution, no action how to make it happen. And if you have an answer, even a good, I mean, not a good, but semi-good, okay answer, we can talk. Then you need a coach and mentor to help you. Last but not least, Americans. I'm not here to make jokes about Americans, but when my book was released in US, in Harvard Business Review asked me to make a version of success formula of leadership with what fits to the 6 bullet points. So they wanted to have whole book in 6 bullet points. I said that, hey, come on guys and girls, that if I would have 6 bullet points, I would make a slide, not a book. But I made one slide for them, and this is my story in one slide. The key thing for me is that I want to be a leader. And I want to develop stronger leaders than I am. I have always tried to recruit people who are stronger than I am, not physically, but mentally. People who can challenge. If you come to my office in Moscow, in Skolkovo, I have 9 advisors. When I came to the Moscow office first time, the first one came, my name is Jana Medvedeva, and I'm advised to do whatever you ask, sir. Think about it. My advisor said to me that she is willing to do whatever I ask to do. And I said, hey, come on. That you are my advisor, you should tell me what to do. Same way, if you are a chief executive, if you are a managing director, your team needs to advise you what to do. And if you only select weak people, they will never advise you. All the burden is in your shoulder. So that's why it's really important to have a strong people. Then these issues, what we already discussed, definitely you have to love your product. If you ask for money from me and you think that you're just doing it just for a test whether Finski coin will give you money or not, I think that you will not get the money. You might be analyzing how customers are doing. This is important. You have to like people, you have to trust people. Like I used as an example, that if you are doing business, you have to trust to each other. And IT business is so quickly, like we heard today, that you don't have 5 years to trust people. You have to do it quite quickly, the trust relation. You have to have, we remember, you have a team now, you have 200 people and you have also Finns working for you. You have to remotely lead them and coach them and make them happy. It's challenging but possible. Then the best raha, you should not be afraid of anything except your mother. That's the real golden rule. And then you have to work like hell. Being an entrepreneur doesn't work. This kind of work-life balance story in entrepreneurship is total bullshit. If somebody talks to you about life, balancing work and life and having 7 children and being every evening 4 o'clock and being entrepreneur, it doesn't work. I can tell you. It's bullshit. But the key here is that from all these elements, I would put myself a little bit to the side, and in the middle I would put not be afraid of anything. Because if you are afraid, your team will be afraid. If you are not afraid, your team will be willing to contribute something super good. It's absolutely essential. Now, okay, to conclude, this is also a secret Russian government slide, which is done by me, so I can show it to you. So there are activities what we are doing. We have a Russian Innovation Week in California. We are taking startups to Vienna on 13th and 14th of November. 13th and 14th of November is the biggest startup event in Europe called Slush. It happens in Finland, mainly not because Finland is such a nice place, but because Finland has 3 out of the biggest gaming companies are in Finland. So 3 out of 5 is in Finland. That's why all big American investors, they come like a dream, like a Disneyland coming to Finland. If you or your colleague want to see a real energy of startups, take a ticket. It is not very expensive with Aeroflot to fly to Finland from Novosibirsk. It's a very inexpensive way to see what means international startup community. I will announce it today or tomorrow morning in the video for many people, this thing, but there will be a big Russian delegation. And anybody who wants to come, I will fix your Schengen visa. Just send me the data, you will get the visa, like this. Guaranteed. So this is coming soon. I encourage, if you have, I know that it costs something and it takes some time, but it's really something which is to learn about. Then we are doing China event in April. Then we have a Russian event, so we are going for new startup tour in the winter. There will be Novosibirsk again. We are here, let's say, in February. And then we have the biggest Russian event ever, Startup Village, on the 2nd and 3rd of June 2014. If you are not able to come to Slush, come to the Startup Village, because there are thousands of startups. It's a Russian event. And a lot also non-Russians. So this is the agenda what we are going to do. Last slide. This slide was made, I made this 20 years ago. 20 years ago. So I'm a very old guy, as you can see. The secret why I have been doing those things what I have been doing is not that I'm technically clever at all. I'm actually relatively stupid, very simple guy. But I have been able to find a good team for me, and I have always taken a risk with people. Always. I even left my wallet in the back there. All my money is in the wallet there. All my credit cards. But you will not steal me because FSB will find you. So no worries. But the more seriously talking, I have to have something valuable to give. You will never come to my speech again if after you go away you think that, okay, Vильякайнен was talking old stories. But if you think that, okay, there was at least something valuable or encouragement, I might come again. Same with your people. You as a leader, you have to look vulnerable, that you are individual, you are a human being. In Russian culture, leaders are not humans. They are like so strong, they don't do mistakes, their hair is never like this, they never sweat, they are not humans. It's a tradition of showing that you are so powerful, kind of higher than the others. It doesn't work in IT and in knowledge business. It might work in Novosibirsk, but the day when you have 200 Finns or 200 Swedes, it doesn't fly. They will show you the middle finger, whoever you are. You cannot become a bulldozer overnight, not by reading a book. So you cannot go to the stage in front of 10,000 people and your legs might be shaking and your voice might be mumbling and your English might be bad, but you have to practice it. I have seen last year, there was in Slush in Finland, there was one girl who was representing a Russian software IT company, and she was so scared. She was in the backstage, there was 1,000 people in front of her, and she was like shaking. And then I said to her that don't make high heels, because if you are shaking, you look a little bit strange. But of course she's a Russian lady, and she took her high heels, and she went to the stage, and I said that nothing can go wrong, just rock and roll. It was not perfect, but year after, or 9 months after, last month, she was in California. And she came to the stage like, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Tatiana, I love you all. It's totally different style. In 9 months, a person was able to change. And this is learning. Learning. Your university teacher cannot teach you that. You have to learn it by yourself. Copy, the fourth one is important. Copy style. Or copy ideas, not style. Copy everything what you can. Chinese are good copying patents, but I'm not meaning that. I mean copying everything good. If you saw a good slide here, good idea, copy my slide, put your own name there. It's okay. Nichivo. Copy it if it's good. If it makes you making more money. Steve Jobs or my good friend Mr. Bill Gates, they have copied all the good ideas. But they have been fastest to connect those and make products out. So copy everything. And that's about it. Ladies and gentlemen, I know that I have exceeded the time. The purpose of today was to tell you 3 things, only 3 things. Anybody in this city can become a great success, especially in IT. Because you don't need so much of capital, you don't need so big factories, you can reach the global market. So it's excellent thing. Secondly, for Russia, for Russian Federation, the startup community issues, this is not like our political corporate bullshit or entertainment. This is not entertainment. It is absolutely essential to have 20,000 new startups to Russia in coming years. It's a lot. So we are not doing this for fun, like nice to be traveling around the world. And thirdly, if you as an entrepreneur, if you doesn't have the passion to do it and to really like pushing things, nobody will give it to you, the talent. Try to learn as quickly as you can from others. And I can tell you that based on I have been now 19 months in Russia. I have seen great entrepreneurs who came with a good idea, then it became great idea, and now they are trying to sell it abroad. Only in 19 months, so it's possible. It's not science fiction. Спасибо большое. Yes. Okay, hey, if you have questions, I'm happy to take those in English or in Russian. I'm sure that our translation device works fine. Any questions? Hey guys, без страха. Yes?
Let me bring
Yes.
Как делать рекламу в других странах? Как разрекламировать свой проект? Если есть стартап в России, какие каналы лучше использовать и так далее? Спасибо.
Какой у вас продукт?
Бизнес.
This is a difficult question. In business IT, if it's IT, business IT product, it is typically a longer process because these business buyers, I know them pretty well because I've been selling all my life to them. They are pretty slow. They are a little bit conservative and so forth. So in many cases, to get a big deal in business, you have to partner with the bigger entity, most likely. So if you have a component which is for SAP, most likely you have to be in SAP program, this partner program, to be selling it. It is extremely important also to have the lead customer. In Russia, many IT companies, they try to desperately get the lead customer to be Rosneft, or they try to hunt Mr. Gref, that Sberbank would be that. It is okay in Russia. If Rosneft is using your technology, it's okay. But if you go to Berlin or London, for example, they ask what Rosneft? Excuse me, what is Rosneft? Is it big? Even Rosneft is big. But my point is that it's same like when somebody tries to sell here and somebody says that I work for ExxonMobil in US, and then in Russia somebody, what is ExxonMobil? So my point is that to be able to get advertised, you have to have an international lead customer, international pilot customer. It might, when I was doing my first business application, I gave it almost for free because I just wanted to have first Swedish customer to have it. I gave it for free, I gave support free, but I learned a lot from that project. So this is important. I would not go for exhibitions. In the old time, everybody went for, they made a Las Vegas or Comdex or wherever, and then they have a small booth. You are standing alone there. You have a great product, and you wait that somebody would stop and buy from you. It doesn't work. Because those buyers, those people who are working in those exhibitions, they don't typically buy products. So that's why the tactics needs to be press. If you have a lead customer, that you get the idea to the media, not as an advertisement, but as a story. And there, Russian media engine, meaning Skolkovo and many others, we can help. We need those stories. 2, you have to have a pilot customer. 3, which is also important, if you have an international investor, the international investor doesn't only give you money, but typically can introduce to the some customer. And I have tried to explain this, that for an entrepreneur in Novosibirsk, if you need $1 million and you get it easily from government or Moscow, don't take it automatically. Try first to get an international investor who has an interest to get you to the international markets. So it's not equal that the money is same. It's not equal. It's the same in Finland. For example, Angry Birds, which was an example. Angry Birds got the first investment from their father. The father was selling their car, and they got the first investment. The father was without car, but invested to Angry Birds. Then the next investment came from me. I gave 100,000 euro in an envelope like, spasiba. Third one was number 3 investor in California, Axel Partners. And Axel Partners was forcing them to get international. They said that this is so crazy, your game, that you have to go to China, you have to go to US. And the guys were, we don't want to, that our girlfriends are angry and kids are crying, and we don't want. But Axel Partners said, yes, you are going. Очень быстро, just go. And that was, so the international investor also helps in this area. But it's always difficult. I'm not saying it's like a magical thing that, but if the product is good, if you have a partner model and so forth, I think it's possible. Okay, there is a question. Okay. Hey, there is a question.
Hello, my name is Yaroslav. I am from бизнес-инкубатор of Kazan IT Park. Mr. Pekka, first of all, I would like to thank you for a great speech. It was a pleasure to hear your experience. And if you let me, I will continue in Russian for the audience.
Okay.
Я хотел задать следующий вопрос. Я думаю, не только у нас в бизнес-инкубаторе. Я хотел задать вопрос сначала о 3 смертных грехах стартапов. А потом я понял, что я хочу задать вопрос о самом главном, на самом деле, для стартапа грехе. Это когда он сталкивается с трудностями, с проблемами, с первыми неудачами, происходит сильная пессимизация в команде, сильная пессимизация фаундера. И иногда нам приходится выступать психологами для таких стартапов. Я хотел бы узнать из вашего опыта, каким лучшим образом поступать, как их вдохновлять на дальнейшие действия, причем следует понимать, что это может быть 2-я, 3-я, 4-я неудача. В России это большая проблема. Я хотел бы узнать о вашем опыте и о ваших советах. Спасибо.
No, sir, first of all, your question is precisely aligned with my statement that an entrepreneurship without leadership is impossible. Because typically great leaders are not great when the times are good. The great leaders are great when the times are difficult. I can tell you that when I was 21, 22 years old, I had 16 people working for me. My biggest customer made a bankruptcy, so we lost all the money. I already used, my girlfriend was very angry for me, of course, all the time. And then I had to ask from her some money. So can we take her student loan and invest to the company? And at the same time, my partner decided to start their own company, so steal the half of the team. So I would say that it was not the greatest day of my life. It was not the greatest day. But what I did was, I took the rest of the team, those 8 people who were left, I said to them that, guys, I am ready to die for you on this particular issue. We have these challenges. I am not able to pay salaries for 2 months. But I guarantee that if you are here after 2 years, I will pay you 10 times as a bonus. So I was playing like a poker. And in Finland, the magic is to be in sauna. We have a chornaja banja, so we sit there together, we take some piva, and we are friends. So chornaja banja is extremely important for a leadership, if you have such a banja in Finland. More seriously, if you have more people, if you have 20 people, 30 people, you have to develop your next level leaders. Because if you are an entrepreneur and you are the only leader in the team, and then you have to travel to seminars in Finland and in California, suddenly you are out and your team is alone. So in other words, very often the leadership issue is already kind of burning when it's too late. And it happens also when the times are good. I can tell you, this is not a big secret, but Rovio, they have a massive leadership problem. They have now 700 people in 2 years. And they have not developed next level leaders. Everybody can read from the newspaper that owners have billions and trillions and Porsche Cayennes and whatever. And these guys, programmers, they feel that they are alone. Somebody has totally, they are forgotten. So my advice, I don't have any, is that from the very beginning, the entrepreneur, the owner, the founder should take this leadership role. He should or she should be interested about people, developing next level of leaders, thinking about if something happens to me. And if you are a business angel and if you are an incubator, you have to advise your companies to do this. It's absolutely the case. One other thing, and don't laugh to me when I say this, one important thing was diversity. Because when I had my company, I had only guys, nerds, we were dressed badly, we look ugly, we were smelling badly. We are all the same. We had 100 guys. And that kind of a community is kind of easy that you can go to sauna, whole company. But we noticed that it's not good. We started recruiting girls, females, younger people, older people, all kind of people, foreigners, because the diversity made it real, the whole thing. And then actually, year after, we had 100 guys and about 60 girls were working, 20 foreigners. We had some people, our CFO was 62 years old, and our guy said that, Pekka, why did you hire this grandfather here? He cannot even know kind of snowboarding and skating and something. I said, because we need him. And so the diversity is also important to build. Otherwise it's become unhealthy, the whole culture. Ladies are important in a team. Okay, I think I have to go to Helsinki. It's only 3,422 kilometers, so we will see hopefully in a startup tour next spring here. And if you are coming to Slush, if you are able to come there, I strongly encourage you to do so. And if you need my presentation, just send me an email, bulldozer@sk.ru, and I will send it to you immediately. Thank you. Спасибо.